So Prime Minister Abe made a press conference yesterday, and he extended the state of emergency until the end of May. And although some people are happy with the policy of Japanese government in that the number of severely affected cases and number of deaths appear to be relatively low compared to other nations, other people are starting to complain that they really don't know when this partial lockdown is going to end. Many businesses are being affected, restaurants, bars, theaters, and so on. So these people whose business have been really severely affected really don't see an exit policy of the Japanese government because of the low number of PCR tests and insufficient measures taken by the Japanese government in terms of locking down the society to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Some people are starting to feel that this might go on for quite a while. They do not see any definite end to this state of emergency thing. The Prime Minister said they're going to try to end the state of emergency by the end of May, but nobody is sure if that is going to happen because of the lax attitude of the Japanese government toward restricting people's movement and detecting cases, restricting spread of the coronavirus and so on. This has been a time of soul searching for the Japanese people, and the characteristically lax and haphazard way of the Japanese people, Japanese government to deal with this crisis has been taken as with kind of a disbelief, but also with a spirit of experimentation because nobody knows what is going to be the best policy mix. So I think the Japanese people have been relatively patient in accepting the government policies as they are, but with the state of emergency extended until the end of May, some are starting to feel that maybe this is not quite right. I mean, what the Japanese government is doing might not be actually sufficient to prevent the spread of the coronavirus once and for all. Probably the measures taken are too modest to really put a cap on the spread of the coronavirus so that this state might go on for quite a while unless the government changes its policies drastically. So there's this growing feeling of impatience, with the fact that the state of emergency seems to be, lagging and extended, without any clear end in sight. There's no clear exit policy, exit strategy coming from the Japanese government. So we will see how this feeling among the Japanese population would turn out to be in the coming days. And if there is a certain threshold is bypassed, you might actually see a drastic change of public opinion in this country. We are going to see that. If that happens, then the approval rate of the government's policy and approval rate of Prime Minister Abe would deteriorate. And when that happens, we might actually see an urge, a state of feeling of urgency within the Japanese government and within the Abe administration that some drastic change is actually necessary to, not only to tackle the spread of the virus, but also to satisfy, to reassure the Japanese people.